All right, guys, we're here with Matthew Tarleton from Signature Motorsports. Matthew, welcome to Oversteer TV.
Thank you for having me,
You prefer Matthew or Matt?
Matt.
Matt. All right, Matt. You are the guy who, whenever you go on the internet, you go to message boards and everything, talk about sports car racing stuff like that. You're the how would you say that the story that won't die and the Mr. Secret. I know you have a lot of plans coming up, and you're gonna be
Yeah.
returned. You're gonna be going to the American Le Mans series. Um, I'll start. You whatever you can tell me. Answer. If not, if you tell me just to shut up, I'll shut up. Okay. Prototype, right? You're gonna be running a
Yes,
prototype. LMP one or two?
it will be LMP1. And
LMP LMP one. Okay.
yes, we'd started at LMP2,
Hmm.
but the coverage for LMP2 at Sebring and Long Beach were pretty much disastrous of our negotiations with our sponsors.
I
When our sponsors saw the lack of coverage and lack of class participation for LMP2, they basically came back to us and said, we're very interested in being involved with the American Le Mans Series and LMP prototypes, but we are not interested in LMP2. And so we resubmitted after a lot of updating and reviewing and reworking of budgets and all sorts of things, and we resubmitted LMP1 to our sponsors.
I that's two questions. One we'll talk about a little later, the whole ALMS media package. But the next question I was going to ask you, funding. I mean, I see all the time all these great ideas for great teams coming up in ALMS and other series, and all this big fanfare, press releases, everything, and then there's no money.
Right.
And whenever I see those things and I don't hear anything about a sponsorship or anything, I go, okay, yeah, call me when you get a sponsor. You do have you're fully funded.
We have 50% of our sponsors already done, and we're in final negotiations with the other 50%.
Okay, well, 50% is more than what most teams have out there. You don't want to mention the manufacturer. I
No,
understand. Another thing, because everybody, I hear some great ideas. I don't know if you heard today about the whole Delta Wing thing with the Le Mans series, American Le Mans.
and I have not heard that.
Well, here I get to spring it on you. You're familiar with the whole Delta Wing concept for IndyCar they had when they were coming up with a new car?
Yes.
Well, apparently they just widened it a little bit, stuck a seat side next to it, and Highcroft Racing, Delta Wing is partnering together with Dan Gurney to build a car to run the American Le Mans Series in Le Mans next year.
Can only do great things for helping the series.
I just want to know how they're going to get those narrow wheels out front to turn the car. Uh,
That's the great thing about sports car racing is it's got so much variety in it. So
okay. um, your team, obviously, you're going to be one of the drivers. Do you have drivers lined up yet?
yes, we do.
All right, you're not going to say who the drivers are.
No, I'm not going to say who the drivers are. I will tell you. I give you a teaser. The two primary drivers. I will not be a primary driver. I have, for a business decision, am not a very well known name in driving. So being a
Hmm.
business, I've bowed out of being a primary role.
Hmm.
Um, but our two primary drivers, between the two of them, they have won. It takes two hands to count the number of 24-hour races they've actually won. Some
Oh.
of those class wins, some of those overall.
Hmm.
These are paid drivers. These are not guys that are bringing in sponsorships to us. These are guys that are professionals. We are paying them. We are not asking them to fill a seat and bring us money.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the thing I want to really get into is putting together a team in a series like the American Le Mans. I listen to the pundits and I hear people talking. They think, oh, all you gotta do is write a check and you're out there. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and things people can't even imagine into putting together an American Le Mans team. Can you give us kind of an idea? Let's say, okay, you decide you want to go racing in the American Le Mans. What are the first few steps you got to do to even consider it?
Spend about at least a year to a year and a half researching what it takes to run a team. Budgets are a huge consideration because it's very hard for a team to campaign a series effectively if they don't know how much it's going to cost and they don't know all of the hidden costs. So they end up, 75, 80% of the way through the season and they run out of money. That happens with a lot of teams.
Mm-hmm.
So the very first thing is an extraordinarily long time of researching and developing your business plan, your business models, getting everything put together, and also beginning on marketing. We've been working on the marketing side of this for about a year and a half now. The total time that we have put into this program as of this month is 3 years. It's not something that can be just thrown together very easily. It's not just personnel, it's not just cars, engines, it's strategy, it's budgets, it's financials, it's marketing, it's media, whole shebang. A lot of teams who come in with, rich guys who write a check and, throw a car out on the track and put an engine in it, and they get it out on the track and they're paying for personnel and everything. They usually don't last very long. And what we're doing is we're putting together a team that is going to have longevity, it's going to be stable, and it's going to have a pretty bright future.
Well, yeah. I point that out to people and I go, just think of the food budget. I mean, people don't even consider that. You got a crew, you got a whole team. You're probably taking minimum 8 to 10 people to each race. You gotta get them hotel rooms. You gotta get them rental cars. You gotta feed them. Okay, you gotta keep your guys happy, and that's not even counting salaries and benefits and things like that, or things like, I always bring up the thing insurance, and the people go, "What about insurance?" I go, "You can't run a team like that without insurance."
That's right. You've got to have full insurance on everything.
On everything, and that does not come cheap.
It's not.
I mean, you're probably talking about a minimum 5 million policy, probably more.
More.
More. Yeah. I mean, it's, we're living in a litigious society. How far along? Well, let me ask you this: when do you think you'll be able to get the car on the track?
Our goal is this year.
This year.
We had, with the LMP2 program, we'd hope to be out on the track this summer, but after the revisions that had to have been made to satisfy our marketing partners and sponsors, and to reevaluate and look at LMP1 instead of LMP2, that has set us back substantially. And the goal right now is to, at the very least, be to Petit Le Mans, if not earlier.
Well, Petit Le Mans is kind of a hard race to start out with, but good.
Yeah.
But then again, I've seen teams start at Sebring and they've made it through also.
Yep.
We're talking about marketing, things like that. The American Le Mans, a lot of things have been said, a lot of negativity has come out with the new media package, the American Le Mans, being on ESPN3 live streaming the actual race, and then like the next day or the next week the race tape delayed. What are your feelings on that?
I remember when email was considered a fad.
Exactly.
So, a lot of things that critics come out and people come out saying, oh, this is just, ALMS couldn't get a good TV package, so they're falling back on this ESPN3, ABC ESPN2 package. There's always going to be detractors to everything. Personally, the way I feel is that if you walk into your local electronics superstore, like a Best Buy or something like that, and no, they're not one of my sponsors. That's not why I mentioned their name. But you see Google TV, Apple TV, all of the large HD TVs are becoming internet ready. Internet distribution of TV is something that's not new. It's been going on for a couple of years, and it's catching on more and more and more. You see ESPN3.com growing. You see Speed2.com growing. You see a variety of TV shows taking their digital content from the television and redistributing it through the internet. So I personally feel like the ABC, ESPN2, ESPN3.com package is the way of the future. There's going to be some growth problems. There's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be a lot of detractors, and there's going to be a lot of naysayers. But these are a lot of the naysayers, and a lot of people like that are the kind of people that want to turn the TV on at 12 o'clock. They want to have their race come on. They want that race to be shown in the entirety, no matter how long it is. And they want to. That's the way traditional race coverage has been for the past 20, 30 years. I know that's the way I grew up. A NASCAR, because I'm from NASCAR country, so a NASCAR race came on, and a lot of people would sit in front of the TV for 4 hours. But with American Le Mans Series, you've got races that are 12 hours, 10 hours. These are very long races for networks to be able to chunk that large of a segment of their day out.
Hmm.
And so I think it's a very good play the American Le Mans Series has done. There's probably a lot more things to it that a lot of us don't know about yet.
Well, the way I look at it is like I compare it to what American Le Mans media package was before, like last year, where some of the races were tape delayed to begin with. So what's the big deal there?
Yeah.
And I look at it as like you said, this is the future. This is the way it's going to be. The only negative you might get out of it is American Le Mans is going to be the first, really is the first series to totally go this way. It might be, the first guy's always got to suffer a little bit, but people are going to change their habits, and when it starts changing more and more, American Le Mans is going to be on the forefront. That's the way I look at it. And they're always good, like you said, always going to be some naysayers. There's always, I actually talked to some guy and he was complaining about it and stuff like that. And I go, well, you can always, I actually said you can DVR it, and he asked me what that was. So I go, okay, you're not the market.
Yeah. And that's true. Is ALMS is going after their demographic.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people who enjoy ALMS racing that don't fit exactly in the demographic that ALMS is going after. And there's people in NASCAR that don't fit in NASCAR's core demographic. There's always going to be a variety of fans.
Exactly.
But the great thing, the way I look at it, the great thing about it is if you want to watch the race live in its entirety, you can on ESPN3.com or on AmericanLeMans.com.
Right.
If you want to watch it in a condensed form on your television, you can watch it on ABC and ESPN2. And you can watch replays of qualifying, replays of the race. You can catch it. It's been archived on AmericanLeMans.com and ESPN3.com. That kind of technology. Think of before the time of DVR. I don't know. I might be showing a little bit of my age a little bit, but I remember when you used to have to, if you wanted to record something or watch it again at another time, you had to set the VHS player.
Exactly. Oh, I remember that, of course.
So people take advantage of, they take technology for granted, and it's, I think it's a great way forward.
All right. Two more quick questions. This weekend, of course, is the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Is Le Mans next year in your team's plans?
No.
No. Okay.
If we could get there, I don't think we would be as competitive as we should be. So we will probably not be looking at the 24 Hours of Le Mans for next year.
All right. Okay. Well, that at least make sure that you're not running an Audi next year, because if you had a diesel, you'd be competitive. All right. When do you think you're gonna be making the announcement so people like me can actually know what you're gonna be running?
We will be making the announcements probably within the next 60 days.
60 days. All right. Keep us in the
Maybe
loop.
sooner.
Keep us in the loop. I want to know so I can see what's going on over there up in Orlando.
Well, I will definitely keep you in the loop, and it'll be. I think it'll take a lot of people by surprise.
All right. All right.
Okay.
Matthew Tarleton, I want to thank you again, Oversteer
Thanks,
TV. Hope to hear from you soon. I can't wait for that announcement.
You shall. Thank you very much.